You're a neurosurgeon, so explain how a seizure like this can lead to this sudden death.
Yeah, so sad. I mean, the family did say that he had epilepsy. It was an ongoing medical condition. And what we know is that sometimes epilepsy can also be associated with something known as SUDEP, which is sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. It's rare, about 1 in 1,000 sort of cases. But the thinking is that someone who's had a seizure, often in their sleep, can lead to apnea, which is when someone stops breathing, or it can lead to a really dangerous heart rhythm. Again, oftentimes it happens in the sleep, so it's hard to detect. It's hard to know exactly what the relationship was to the seizure, but that is a known thing, and it's sad, and it's rare, thankfully, but that is likely the sort of thing that we're talking about here.
Well, you just say it's rare. How common is epilepsy in general, and what can people do to lower the risk of something like this happening?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about epilepsy in the United States, you probably have, 3 to 4 million people who deal with epilepsy, who are taking medications to try and control that epilepsy. They have that diagnosis. There may be more even who have not yet received an official diagnosis, but you're talking about millions of people. Again, with SUDEP, which is the sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, that's the acronym, it's a rare thing, but we know that there are certain situations that make it possibly more likely to happen. And there's a list there, people who haven't necessarily taken medications as prescribed. We don't know that to be the case here by any means. Avoiding known seizure triggers. People who have had epilepsy for a long time often have an idea of what some of the triggers might be, and avoidance of those is very important. Alcohol can be associated with this, just simple things like not enough sleep as well. So again, we don't know that to be the case. The LA coroner is investigating this. We'll have an actual result from them 6 to 8 weeks from now. But that's, from what the family has said, from his medical condition, this is sort of where things are pointing.
But medication can stop seizures like that? I mean, what happens exactly during a seizure?
Well, when you're thinking about seizures overall in the brain and looking at the function, you're seeing basically a burst of electrical activity in a particular place in the brain. That's what a seizure is. Now, depending on where in the brain this is happening, different symptoms can occur. So sometimes it's hard to first attribute new symptoms to a seizure. But once someone is diagnosed and has a seizure like this, the concern with SUDEP is that right after the seizure, the brain is affected in such a way that the person may develop apnea, you stop breathing, or this heart rhythm abnormality that can be fatal. And that's what SUDEP is.
And can medication control that?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this, SUDEP itself is so particularly rare, 1 in 1,000 people. They try and figure out who are these 1 in 1,000 people. And what they have found is that people who haven't taken medication more likely to develop SUDEP, but that's by no means always the case. There are people who've done everything right. They've avoided their triggers. They've taken their medications as prescribed. They've had good control of epilepsy over their lifetime, and yet they still develop it, which makes this so tragic, again.